My name is Carolyn, and I'm one of the singers in Phoenix Chamber Choir, a Vancouver, Canada-based community ensemble dedicated to the presentation of high-level contemporary choral music. If you haven't heard of us, feel free to check out our website, phoenixchoir.com, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Phoenix has been involved in the creation of a number of virtual choir video projects to help us stay connected to each other and to our friends during the COVID-19 pandemic. The purpose of this video, the first in a two-part series, is to share what we've learned about how to create a virtual choir project on a tight budget. A virtual choir is a compilation of video and audio files recorded all separately and then combined later in an editing studio to create the final product. The most common question we get asked is, can you do one of these live by using a video conferencing software? Currently, the answer to that is no. The reasons are that there's a time lag and a time delay between the actual video and audio sound, and the audio quality is so much more dependent on your internet connection rather than your actual singing ability. A virtual choir project may not be a good fit for every organization. It is a very time-intensive process to create even a single video, and that's time-intensive for your singers and for yourself as an organizer. And it's certainly not a replacement for the community and interaction that you get in a regular choir rehearsal or concert. At the current time, while we can't all be in the same room, we try to think of it as a very distant second best. As a singer, why should you think about making a virtual choir video? The first thing is you really learn a lot about how you sound to the rest of the world by creating one of these videos and then listening back to yourself. And the musical and technical skills you gain by doing that allow you to learn your music really well. And it was also a great reason to take out my singing voice when I otherwise would not. This also gave us a chance to be part of a bigger project and reach out to friends who we normally would not be able to sing with. As an organization, why should you consider making a virtual choir project? First of all, it allows your singers to create something together even though they may have to be physically distant at this time. It also allows you to make a musical creation that you can offer to an online audience, which is often a more international or broader audience than you might have reached in a regular concert setting. It allows you to connect and collaborate with singers from other cities, potentially. And actually, your audience viewers get to see your individual singers' faces up close. So, what equipment do you need in order to start making one of these videos? Well, at the very minimum, you need something to record with, possibly a smartphone, and a set of headphones. Everything else is bonus after that, and we'll talk about possibilities that you can use. You also need time and access to somebody who can help you with your video and sound editing, and then a lot of energy and enthusiasm and patience to make it work. Step one, and probably the most important step, is to pick the right piece of music for this project. Ideally, the piece of music you select should be something that your choir has sung together before or that you really enjoy singing. Things to consider in your selection of the piece could include how long is the piece? Are there a lot of tempo changes? Are there a lot of complicated rhythms or entries that have to be cued? Remember, you're trying to get your singers from start to end in as close to as perfect of a take without the conductor physically being there. For our first project, we may have attempted a piece that was maybe 7 minutes long that we'd never sung together, and it turned out okay, but, well, it might not have been our first choice. Step two is to create a guide track that all of the singers will be following. There are many options for this. It could be as simple as an audio click or metronome, as demonstrated by Beaker from the Muppets. It could be a piano accompaniment that helps keep your singers together. It could be a pre-recorded choral track of a group that you very much admire, who you sing along to for rehearsing. Your other option is to create a video conducting track where the conductor is actually waving their arms in front of you. Any combination of those will work. There are a few things to consider when creating your guide track. If you make an audio-only guide track, this simplifies it for the singers where they only have to have a video recording device and a pair of headphones to listen to the guide track. If you have a video of the conductor at the same time, they now require a way to see the conductor, hear any music going with it, and a way to video record. That may mean that your singers need 2 separate devices in order to create their videos. If your singers are very skilled and use their ears mostly, it may be totally fine to do an audio-only guide track. That's how most of Phoenix's videos have been done. If you have younger singers or less experienced singers or a complicated piece of music where it requires a lot of cueing, a video guide track of the conductor may be helpful. For example, our latest video with adults and youth choir singers meant that our adults had an audio-only guide track and the youth singers had a video track where they had a youth choir conductor cueing them and telling them to dance and smile at all the different spots. The final thing is to remember your guide track actually has to have starting pitches so they know what pitch to sing, and it also should have enough time to allow the singer to press play and get into the right position before needing to record. Step 3 is to get the best possible recording from every singer. There are many components to this, the first of which is getting really good quality audio. The majority of our singers recorded using just a smartphone and the headphones using an audio guide track. You can use many other things. There are external microphones that you can plug into devices. An external microphone is great, but honestly not necessary. There are some advantages in that you can control the gain and the amount of distortion and the amount of noise reduction, and you get a little more depth to the sound. But in the setting of these compiled videos, it doesn't make that much of a difference. What you're looking for is a sound that is clean, so very little to no background noise. You want it to be dry, so free of reverberant echoes, and you want it to be direct, meaning that the microphone is mostly picking up you and not all the background. Every singer has to find the best recording spot in their household. That could be a walk-in closet if you've got one. It could be your bedroom. It might actually be in the back seat of your car. The best thing to do is to experiment with where you place the microphone relative to where you are going to be positioned. Record yourself singing the loudest and the softest parts of the piece and listen back to that recording. Does it sound good? Do the loud sections have that crackly distortion noise? Are the quiet sections actually loud enough? That's how you're going to figure out what is the ideal spot for recording from an audio perspective. Once you have found the best audio spot for recording, you want to make that area look good for the video as well. From a video perspective, it's actually easier if all the videos are done horizontal or landscape. The reason for that is if somebody uses a laptop, they generally create a landscape video, and so getting a number of videos in different orientations makes editing much more challenging. You would ideally include their head, shoulders, chest, and some background so that the video editor has space to work with. You want to place the recording device on something stable that will allow the singer to sing comfortably, but the video to be taken from eye level flush. There are a few great ways to do this. If you have a photography tripod and a small adapter to hold your phone, that could work. But there are many household solutions that we've all come up with to try and find ways to get our phones essentially into the right position. The look of the final video depends on what is visible in the background. So in general, we tell singers, make sure you're okay with everyone seeing what's behind you. If you're in a funny recording space like your closet, you may find it easier to hang a bedsheet to create a clean canvas behind the singer's head. Consider that this has to be similar to any other performance. What are your singers wearing? You want it to be one take from start to finish with a little bit of silence at the start and silence at the end. Is there choreography? Remembering that the singer has to stay inside the frame in order to have it captured in the video. We can fix a lot of things in the editing studio, down to the cutoffs and where you place your T's, and even if the note is a little out of pitch for one singer, we can pitch shift it. But the most compelling videos, just like performances, are the ones where the singers look like they're having a great time. So just like in a real performance, you want people to see you enjoying singing. To do that, you need to know your music really well so that you can look up at the camera, be swept away by the movement of the piece. Be warned, it does often take many times to get a clean, full, straight pass through your video that you're proud to share.
Take routine. All the way through, no stopping. This one's going to be a winner.
The cleaner the video is at this point, the less time it takes for editing later. Step 4 is to create a timeline or schedule for submitting all of those videos. You have to provide your singers with their guide track and instructions on how to set themselves up to make one of these videos, which could be as simple as sending them this video link. Depending on the complexity and the singer's familiarity with the piece, you should offer at least 1 to 2 weeks to submit recordings. This is where video conferencing software can be helpful. Our choir decided to meet on Zoom at our regular meeting time to discuss things like how we were going to pronounce certain words, which side of our head we were going to clap on, the phrasing of what we wanted out of the piece. We even sat down and discussed the composition with the composer themselves to give us a better idea of what we were trying to create together. Step 5 is to designate somebody in your organization to be the collector of videos. Those video files are often too large to send simply by email, so we use a variety of different methods to collect those videos. It could be a file sharing service like Google Drive or Dropbox, or you can use a file transfer service like WeTransfer to get the files from the singers to the designated person. Congratulations! You're now at the point where you can start stitching together videos to make the final project. If you have space in your budget to hire a professional choral sound engineer or a video editor, this is the point where you can now forward the material onto them and work with them to create the final look of your video. If you're on a budget like us, then it's great to find somebody in your organization who's maybe a little more tech savvy or has a really good computer for possibly gaming that would be set up to allow you to actually try video editing. That's going to be the focus of part 2 of our How to Virtual Choir on a Budget series. Keep in mind that editing may be the most time-consuming part of working on a project, and you should leave yourself at least 2 to 3 weeks to complete this portion. Feel free to subscribe so that you can see how we put together our latest videos and catch up on all the interesting projects Phoenix is working on. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer them. Happy singing!